What's the greatest, worst movie? Deep Blue Sea. Samuel L. Jackson, LL Cool J, and Super Sharks. I fucking love that movie, it's the most baller shit ever. Now you've seen how bad things can get and how quick they can get that way. Well, they can get a whole lot worse. So we're not going to fight anymore. We're going to pull together and we're gonna find a way to get out of here. First, we're gonna seal off this pool. Eaten by shark. Where SLJ gets chomped mid-speech. It's just so unexpected. Like the writers wanted to make it a memorable speech but ran out of things to say and they thought fuck it, let's just kill him here. There's a Mythbusters episode called Phone Book Friction in which they demonstrate how powerful friction is. I show it when I'm teaching about fault lines. But the mini or side myth in that show is the shark explosion scene from Deep Blue Sea. A lot of my students wind up interested enough to go home and watch the whole movie and it makes me so happy to expose them to a cult classic. Deep Blue Sea 2 is a terrible, pathetic rip-off of the first one, with basically no redeeming qualities. But the third, Deep Blue Sea 3, is actually good. It has a satisfyingly preachy pro-environment storyline, good characters, and satisfying deaths and plot reveals. From what I understand after watching the third one, 2 was supposed to be some rich guy that stole the research from the first one and was trying to replicate it, which was why it was basically the same. As for 3, how the fuck did that dude get blown up and swim to the buildings while covered in burns and cuts and not get eaten? The whole thing was ridiculous, but 3 was almost as good as the first one. I really enjoyed the first half of Deep Blue Sea 3 but once the action ramps up it just goes downhill. It just feels so forced. For me the frantic pace of the violent conclusion was justified because of how they framed the need for urgency. The fact that they made a difference to me. It felt like DBS 2 was created by a couple drunk guys who watched DBS 1 and tried to recreate it from memory. I have a funny story about this movie. So when I was around 6 years old or so my parents let me watch Deep Blue Sea with them. The next day in after school, I drew a picture of a man being eaten by a shark, being dismembered and blood spreading through the water. The teachers were so shocked that they had a talk with my parents about it, and my parents had to sheepishly explain that they let me watch a violent shark movie the night before. The movie was awesome though. Kids love sharks. My favorite part of Deep Blue Sea is that human brain cells allow sharks to swim backwards, as if the whole problem is that sharks are too stupid to swim backwards, not that they have fixed pectoral fins and literally can't. That's just a solid movie, dude. Defoe not in best worst. I know every word of this movie. My mom has early stage dementia and I stay with her and play dominoes all day. I keep it looping in the background like white noise. She doesn't pay any attention until the part where, spoiler alert, Stellan Skarsgård dies, which she thinks is hysterical every time. Thomas Jane put so much into this movie. He really wanted to impress with his action hero moves. Anytime he slides or jumps, we call out, Thomas Jane, physical actor. Notes, spoilers ahead. Preach, played by LL, keeps a pet bird in the kitchen and lets it sit in the clean pots. The Playboy Preach picks up has Karen McDougal on the cover. McDougal had an affair with Donald Trump. You can easily spot Skarsgård's missing arm tucked under his jacket. Fave line, I'm just a fish keeper, lady. Worst line, anything said by Michael Rappaport's character. Did somebody order the fish? Jan was a healthy girl. Where'd she keep her? Best line, nature can be lethal, but it doesn't hold a candle to man. Now, you've seen how bad things can get and how quickly they can get that way. Well, they can get a whole lot worse. So, we're not gonna fight anymore. We're going to pull together and find a way to get out of here. First we're going to seal out this. In the original script Dr. Susie was supposed to survive, but the test audience were out for blood. I agree, and I think Susan's willingness to accept responsibility and sacrifice herself in the end was the best character arc in the film. The filmmakers originally wanted Samuel L. Jackson for the part of Preach, but Jackson wanted to play the man. Originally Jackson's now famous speech was much longer and his character survived until later in the film. When Jackson read it, he told the director the speech was boring and it would be better shortened. He recommended rewriting it the way it is now. When the director sent Jackson an advanced copy, he wrote back, "Best death scene ever. Classic L.L.S. My hat is like a shark fin over the end credits is worth a listen. LOL. I fucking love Thomas Jane and I also know every word." I was thinking exactly this movie. I loved LL Cool J in that. LL punched the fuck out of that shark though. Yes. My hat is like a shark's fin. Wash your mouth out. This movie is a classic and was robbed by the Academy. Imo the chef's bird and the chef himself were the best characters. I always watch this back to back with Lake Placid. Best crazy animal movies out there. Pretty sure you could buy these two as one of those double packs they used to do with DVDs. I think my love for watching them together stems from them being played together on TV, maybe on TNT or something. It's a perfect combo. This is the best movie. When it came out, I went solo to see it one afternoon, then dragged my wife to see it the next day. I've seen a lot of movies more than once in the theater, but that's the only one on consecutive days. It's just the right brand of so bad it's good. I was 8 years old then and damn did I jerk off to that bikini electrocution scene. Pumped my fist to the scrambled eggs recipe because I'd been making my eggs that way since day one and I always caught shit. I don't know if this could even be considered a bad movie. It has competent pacing and story structure, action, and puppetry on par with Jurassic Park though the CGI is trash. Only bad part of it is some of the characters are boring as hell. Rennie, you forgot the parrot. And Marvel legend Tom Jane. My hat is like a shark's fin. Edited for carelessness. Everyone always goes for great whites when they do shark movies. It's good that the Makos got some love. Recently pretended I had never seen it before to get my wife to watch it with me. Stopped putting milk into my omelets after LL Cool J's lesson. I remember that so well and I don't cook. So fucking good. My husband didn't believe me about the theme song Deepest, Bluest, My Head is Like a Shark's Fin. So damn good. That movie is borderline actually good. I mean it's not great, but I don't know about worst best. Don't forget the parrot. How do you compare Sharknado to this? Someone needs to hire you to write teasers or synopsis professionally. 12 words and you just convinced me to watch a terrible movie. More smarter fish. My wife had never seen this so I decided what the heck, let's watch it. We got all the way to the best Samuel L. Jackson part in the middle of the film, he says motherfucker, the intense part happens. I look over at her and say cool, that's all I really wanted to see. And shut the movie off. To this day, she still claims that she wants that hour of her life wasted getting to that scene back. Wait till you see part 2 and 3. They ate me. Fucking shark ate me. Drink, bitch. Deepest Bluest. I feel like Anaconda and Deep Blue Sea were made by the same people, because the formula is similar. Brilliant film. DBS 2 is just a rehash with worse actors and worse everything. DBS 3 is slightly better than 2 but still bad. Unfortunately the sequels are not the so bad they're good soul sequels, they're just bad. My little brother loved this movie when he was a kid. I cannot tell you how many times we watched it. Deepest. Bluest. My head is like a shark's fin. I can top that, The Spirit. Have you ever seen a Nazi Samuel L. Jackson? Honestly I love that movie. I don't even consider it bad. I loved this movie. I think this was my first super animal killing machine movie and I still enjoy watching the really cheesy ones. OMG yes. It was gloriously trashy. Does this shark look like a bitch? 100% agree. We just watched it last night. Still holds up. Is LL Cool J the cook? I always thought that was Cuba Gooding Jr. That is way too good of a movie to be a worst movie. I'm offended that you think this is a bad movie. My headcanon is that Deep Blue Sea is part of the MCU and is a prequel to Thomas Jane's Punisher movie. I am still terrified of sharks BC if this movie, but I will watch it again. R/unexpected during film, no spoilers. That was quite literally the first thing I thought of before going into comments. You ate my bird. This was what I came here to comment. Just watched the third one the other night, it did not disappoint. Is that the one with the parrot? And the worst movie is the sequel. Deep Rising is my favorite. Deep Blue Sea is a close second though. First rated 18 movie I watched. I thought I was so fucking cool. And we're not gonna fight anymore. Chomp. This is easily in my top 5 favorite movies. It's fucking fantastic. Is this based on Le Grand Bleu, the French movie? Did you know the Canadian version has an extra 22 minutes and LL Cool J rapping all his lines as an extra? A pair of sharks high five, hi Finn. What else do I need to say? Oh man, first answer best answer. BTWs they made 2 more. That movie taught me how to make an omelet. I love this movie. My hat is like a shark's fin. The actual lyrics to the song playing in the closing credits by LL Cool J. I always thought it was head, not hat. My sister and I got a huge kick out of that. I only found out last week that there is a Deep Blue Sea 2 and 3. They ate me. A fucking shark ate me. Drink bitch. Didn't that one have titties? I remember titties. This film was so bad it was good. Come on, that's a seriously good movie. Do people really think it sucks? Yes, love it. I love shark movies, especially bad ones. You just reminded me how much I loved this movie. Time for a rewatch. I saw it in theaters the day it came out. I regret nothing. LOL, I was 9 or 10 when that movie came out. I saw that scene where Saffron Burrows strips down to her drawers and couldn't figure out what was going on down in my pants. I love you. For real. That's a rewatch. For the corn. Holy shit, yes, this is a family movie. Son of Shark Enthusiast. Saw this when I was a kid before I realized my parents don't have a critical eye for movies we rented. Good times. They ate me. A fucking shark ate me. Samuel L. Jackson delivers the greatest motivational speech of all time in a movie, before getting mutt off *CKN mutilated. Yes. I watch this every time it's on TV, haha. This is the answer for me, and I love bad movies. Every single choice, acting, directing, writing, blocking, every choice is just wrong. Every single thing this movie does is a fail. But it's just coherent enough to follow just how bad it is, and the production quality is horrible, but just good enough that it doesn't look like it's some college kid's final project. But what makes it stand out besides that is that it is 1000% earnest. There is zero self-awareness. This is what separates it from the rest. Velocipaster, Troll 2, Sharknado, these movies have some level of self-awareness. Velocipaster specifically is very in on the joke. It knows what it is. Not The Room. It was completely made with love. No camp. No exaggeration. No in-jokes. Tommy Wiseau is giving it his all. And it is a complete and utter disaster. It's the perfect bad movie. Neil Breen comes the closest to capturing this. Fateful Findings is easily his best, but even he seems to be aware of what he's doing to some extent now with his latest stuff like Twisted Pair. Other great lesser-known recommendations for those of you who like earnest effort fails. Steve's Hollywood Story. Ben and Arthur. Love on a Leash. Cool Cat Saves the Kids, or Kid Superhero. Easily Mike Myers' The Cat in the Hat. The Cat in the Hat getting a hat boner will always get me. It has everything a bad early 2000s movie should have. Obsession with making things that were originally cartoons into live action, and somehow doing so in the aesthetically worst way possible. Obnoxious pop culture references throughout. CGI that has aged incredibly poorly. Plotline that involves the kid's divorced parents' boyfriend/girlfriend being the main villain. Sexual innuendos in a kid's movie. Belching and farting being presented as peak comedic moments. The only thing it's missing is having talking live-action animals. God, I hate that trend the most. Movies would either use CGI to make it look like the animals' mouths were moving while the voice actor's dialogue was playing, or they would just play the voice actor's dialogue over the shot of an animal just sitting there. So stupid. Showgirls. It makes a lot more sense if you watch it imagining Nomi Malone to be an alien who doesn't understand humanity. Otherwise it's a terrible movie but so watchable. There's loads of nudity but it's not sexy. It seems almost as if someone put every Paul Verhoeven movie into an AI and this is what it spat out. A documentary came out recently called You Don't Know Me about people's love and hate for the movie. Edit, thank you for the awards and 2K upvotes. Like many of Paul Verhoeven's films, this movie is very intentionally satirical. Like many of his films, Starship Troopers, for example, it has undergone a critical re-evaluation over the years. Whether you see a so bad it's good movie with terrible acting or a deadpan satire about Hollywood, the good news is that it's eminently enjoyable. Edit, a word. Santa Claus, 1959, a little gem from Mexico. The creator has no idea who Santa Claus is or any Christmas folklore. According to the movie, Santa is an interdimensional being who lives in a castle in the sky. Instead of elves, the children of the world make all toys, and his archenemy is the devil who seeks to stop him from delivering gifts. St. Nick is aided in his Christmas task by Merlin the magician and the Roman god Vulcan. Instead of live reindeer, he uses wind-up reindeer with a creepy laugh. Now for the icing on this LSD-laden Christmas pudding, Santa prays to Jesus. Santa, who is not from our dimension and is aided by a sorcerer and a pagan god, prays to Jesus. You have to see it to believe it. I think I did see this, but thought it may have been a dream. Watching it certainly makes one think they are dreaming. Like you drank spoiled eggnog and stale gingerbread cookies. Rip Trax did it in theater. No, Lupita. The Doll Nightmare. Never has Christmas so disturbing. Kung Fury. Cannot believe I had to scroll this far down. In the 1940s, Hitler was a kung fu champion. He was so good at kung fu, that he decided to change his name to Kung Führer. But he didn't stop there. He knew the Kung Fury prophecy, and wanted to claim the throne, so he and his posse of Nazi soldiers conducted experiments for years. They were never able to figure how to master the art of Kung Fury. Then one day, he disappeared from the face of the earth. And no one has seen him ever since, until now. I guess if he figured he can find the chosen one and kill him, he will become Kung Fury himself. He must have traveled in time in order to get here, which is probably why he disappeared in the first place. You had to scroll down because there is now a way in which Kung Fury qualifies as a bad movie. I can't believe no one has said it yet. A Night at the Roxbury. Absolutely classic, horrible film, incredibly fun to watch. I honestly don't see it as a bad but good film. More, to me, like a so weird and not like a movie that it's something so unique I can't help but enjoy it. And I was like, Emilio. I mean, technically it never became an actual film, but for a short while, Universal planned a movie called Cowboy Ninja Viking with Chris Pratt. The plot was about the government recruiting a man with multiple personality disorder and turning him into a super soldier with the attributes of a cowboy, ninja, and a Viking. It sounds incredibly funny, but unless they had an incredible story, it'd probably be one of those greatest, worst movies. Thanks for watching. If you could like, subscribe and comment best Reddit stories for more Reddit videos.